Alrighty, so we have finished week 1 and I've graded the items submitted, and I just reviewed the video instruction at least for Monday, and I'll do this for Tuesday. But I think both of these videos stand on their own and give you a really good sense of what you need to do this week, which is why I produce them. So when I'm recording the weekly videos, I try to throw in other unrelated topics or anything that I saw students get hung up on. So there was nothing in these items that blared out at me that I could remember. Just do keep in mind that for this week you're using the same file to take notes. Your MD file will create it here, and then we'll continue to add to it here. Make sure you do use those markdown headings. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about in this attendance, right? So I know this is the second week of the semester. Some of you are still getting your bearings, trying to figure out how all this works. It's really important that you get this library card from Fresno County because you're going to need it this week, and I talk about that, so that's a duplicate. But one of the things I want to just get in your head is the idea of how important it is to work ahead, especially in a class like this where you're doing not just concepts work, but you're doing actual hands-on work. And the sooner you work on the items for this class, the sooner I'll grade, because I grade every day. So this is Friday of the first week. I graded this morning, and if you didn't complete it, I put a 0 in your item. And actually this for this first week I actually sent out messages. I won't do this going forward so much, but it's really because for this first week I want to make sure we're all on the same page together. Okay, so just know that that's true going forward. Okay. So a couple things. One is that I want you to get this concept in your head, right? Because it's important. So Git versus GitHub. And the reason I'm bringing this up, and let me see if and this is fun to do if you don't know how to do this, is just going to Google Images, typing in concepts, and see if you can find images that help you understand it. So this is obviously just what I'm saying, but I want you to understand right now in the work that you're doing, you're using GitHub. This is a web-based product. Microsoft bought it recently, and it's used by many most people, let me say it that way, that do development have some kind of and by the way, this actually some kind of code up on GitHub. Okay. So this is actually the one I should have used, right? So it's a hosting service, and in this week you're actually going to create a repo outside of our course repo that is going to host a website that you will use for our project for this class. Okay, so as we move into the next couple of weeks, we're going to continue to use GitHub, but you will eventually move your repo, and really when I say move, I mean clone, and in a sense that's just copy into your local system. And that's an important stage in our class, is when you move from using GitHub to using Git and using version control locally, and then pushing this code out to GitHub so that you can still share the link with me. Okay? So my whole purpose here of talking about this is that one thing that happened to a couple of students last semester, and this content you're looking at was actually re-recorded last semester, so it's still very current, is that when we moved and you clone repos locally, you no longer work on the web interface to update files. And if you do, it creates kind of a mess. Clean upable, probably not a great word. You can clean it up, but it's just a pain. So just in your mind, I want you, and by the way, it's just good to understand, because many people that actually use GitHub will call GitHub when you're really talking about Git. Okay, and I probably have done it. So I just want you to keep that in your mind. Okay. All right, so I'm actually going to show you one other thing, because for those of you, and at this point there's several of you on chat, which is awesome, but I know that if you don't do the following, sometimes chat can get a little annoying, especially if there's an ongoing conversation. So here's what I do. I do this, and then I will turn off notifications. I'm going to show you, and I think I've shown this before, but I just want to show it again because A, I want you to participate in chat, but B, I don't want it to annoy you. And maybe I'm talking for myself. Now I'm on the web interface. You can do this also on your mobile interfaces if you happen to be using Hangouts on your mobile devices. So there's the settings, right? So the gear is off in the settings, and what you can do here is you can take off notifications. Now if you do come in here, please don't mess with this. I had a couple students last semester, I guess, get these two confused. Okay, so this is only the thing I'd want you to change, because right now the fact that I've created join by link, if you turn that off, few other students won't be able to join if they want to at this point. Okay, now having said that, the other thing is if there's an ongoing conversation, right, and if you're muted for notifications, just scroll back and read it if you're interested, right? And again, we're at the beginning. I don't see a lot of questions here, just a lot of hellos, which is awesome. I love that, right? But I just want to say to you, right, please use chat. But if it annoys you from your mobile device, which by the way, I am on a lot of different Hangouts. I mean, I have people all over the US. I have other classes that are on here, and I mute almost every discussion. But what I do is I come back later and I will review what I've missed if there's something I need to catch up on. Okay? So I think that's about it for what I wanted to give you this week. And then I think I could go further, but I think I'll try to keep this relatively brief, right? So I will post this like I have before. You will have between noon, because I will release it right at noon today. You'll have again another week. You only have to do this once. Oh, actually, I see that when I recorded this last time I talked about it. I'm just want to put this in your head, is that the follow-up course to this class is CIT85. And so I hope many of you have considered enrolling in that. That's Todd McLeod's class, also online, logically follows this class. So I hope you've thought, and if you have any questions about CIT85, right, throw them out. But it's basically, we're focused on larger concepts on the web, giving you some experience though, just introducing you to HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap. But in his class, you'll focus only on HTML and CSS. By the way, I think he uses GitHub as well. All right, have a good one, and I will talk to you soon.